Today we will address our first challenge, and the challenge is to create KPI in PowerPivot based on average blood pressure, and we want to calculate our averages based on week, not months, because for weeks it's harder in KPI in PowerPivot. So we have our table, one cell selected, and we can go to PowerPivot tab and add to data model our table. We can here change our date format to just dates without time, and we have to create average based on upper blood pressure column. So we can select just one cell in calculation area and go to home tab and choose auto average, and PowerPivot will create measure for us automatically, but the name for me is too long. Let's just leave pressure, and we want average based on this column, and we have proper calculation, but let's change number format just to decimal number. We will have just 2 decimal places. It's enough for us. And so now we can create columns with weeks, because it's hard to group by weeks in PowerPivot. So we can start with weekNum column and column equal sign, and we can use exactly the same function. So weekNum function, and based on date column we can calculate our week number, and we have 2 options here. Week can start on Sunday or on Monday, because I'm from Poland and here we are starting week from Monday, so I'm choosing 2 here. Okay, so we can just press enter, and we have our column with week number. So Monday, so first day here is a Monday, so we have Monday, and the last day we have Sunday. So exactly 7 days, just week. And for some this solution is enough, but I prefer to have our start day of the week and end day of the week. So I will create another column. This time I will call it week text, column equal sign, and we will start with our date from date column, and I have to subtract number of today date weekday, number of weekday. So we can use weekday function based of course on date column, and we have 3 options for numbering our weekdays. So Sunday can be the first day and Saturday the last day, Monday can be the first day and Sunday the last day, and the third option is the one we need. So Monday will be the first day, but it will have 0, so we will start counting from 0, and that's exactly what we need. And based on that we have our first day, so Mondays, only Mondays, doesn't matter which day of the week, we still have Mondays. And we should add more information to this, because this is our first day of the week and we want also the last day of the week. So we will add some delimiter, so just a space, minus sign space as our delimiter, and based on thanks to that we won't see any time here, and we can now add the second calculation, the Sunday. So we can copy our calculation for Monday and just plus 6 days to go to Sunday, and we can see we have Sunday. And if the date formats are okay for us, this is all. If we want to change date format, we should add format date for first calculation date and the second part of this, but it's good enough for us. So we can create pivot table based on our measures and our calculation. So just on home tab, just click pivot table. We want pivot table on the new worksheet, and we can work with our dates. And if I will start with date column and go to rows, in most newer version of Excel will have automatically group by months. But if I try to group by days, we can see that in PowerPivot the number of days field is grayed out. We cannot use it. That's why we create our additional table fields, columns, to address this problem. So I can Control Z, and I should use weekNum field column or week text column in our rows. So I will go with week text, and I will also want in my design grand totals. I want to add grand totals, like make it be wider this column, and I want to add persons to columns headers, and now I can use my measure. We can see this is measure because of fx symbol for function, and we go with measure to values, and now we can see our average blood pressure for each week and each person, and we have also summarized grand total for all persons, so average for all person. And now we can add KPI to our pivot table. So just go to PowerPivot tab, click KPIs, new KPI, and we have only one measure here, so we are connecting our KPI to pressure measure, and we want some absolute values, and our target is 120. It's our let's say the best pressure possible, and our pressure should be in the middle, our best pressure and our target pressure. And if this pressure is between 110 and 130, it's good. If it's between 100 and 110, and from 130 to 140 is okay. But if we go beyond those threshold, beyond those points, so it's lower than 100 or larger than 140, it's bad, so we should see a doctor. And let's choose those icons. I like them the most, and I can now press OK, and now my measure change into KPI, and we can see our measure, our status, so the numbers 0, 1 and -1, and we have even our goal, but it's only this one number repeated for each cell, so it's not interesting in most cases. And we want icons instead of numbers, so we should uncheck our status and then check it again. So Excel should now show us icons, not numbers. And I can go with pressure status header, or I can change it to KPI, and I prefer in this example make it KPI. And we can see our measures, and if we like we can also add some alignment, but because there is an option for this in pivot tables, we just can go to home tab and choose our center alignment for columns, and we can see our average weekly measure, and we can see KPIs corresponded to this measure, so the proper icon.